Let's talk about courtship in marriage and the need to have conversations to get to really understand each other during courtship. One of the things that I found out about young people getting married is that they don't take the time to ask questions. They don't take the time to have conversations that will serve as foundation for their marriage. They don't take the time to have tough conversations. And because they avoid these tough conversations, they go into marriage and they experience these things. That's why research would show that a lot of marriages have the tendency to crash between the first to the fifth year. If they survive the fifth year, then there's a higher tendency for it to last a little bit longer. And it is because of the fact that most of the challenges that you face in marriage, you would begin to experience them during the first to the fifth year of your marriage. Especially the things that are new, the things you didn't talk about, the things that you didn't have conversations about. So it's important to have conversations about a lot of things. One thing I always say is that opposites may attract, but similarities will remain. It is in courtship that you're able to actually know if you are similar in a lot of things. Try to talk, not just about spending time to go watch movies alone, hang out and be telling each other I love you and you love me and all of that. Those things are good, okay? But it's important to understand that there are deeper aspects of courtship that needs for you to pay attention to. So have conversations, talk about a few things, and I'm going to share a few things that I think are important for you to talk about. Talk about parenting. How do you want to raise your children? Talk about how many children you want to have. Okay, so some people think that parenting has to be the old way our parents raised us. You have to flog them. You have to use fear to drive the message, and then the other person may think that this type of parenting is not the parenting I subscribe to. I probably would want to show them love and affection, allow them to have their own opinion, not flog them as in beat them with a rod, but be able to show other levels or other ways of discipline. You guys would have to agree in some of these things because two cannot work together except they agree. And one thing about courtship is that it's an opportunity for you to agree on a lot of things. It's an opportunity for you to take a decision on a lot of things. How many children do we want to have? I've heard about couples who break up during their counseling sessions in church because when the issue of how many children do you want to have came up, they both did not agree. The woman said only one child. I want to keep my body. I want to keep my shape. The man said, I thought we were going to be having like 4 children. And then at the end of the day, they couldn't agree on the number of children that they wanted to have. This person could not, didn't want to compromise. The other person was willing to compromise. But then because there was no agreement, the relationship ended. So it's important to have conversations about the number of children that you want to have in your courtship stage so that by the time you get married, everyone is on the same page. Because there's something about getting to sometimes some people will say, but then we agreed before we got married, and when we got married, he changed, and then he refused to agree on all of those things. That speaks to that person's integrity. Okay, so if you're dealing with someone and you want to get married to someone, and it's important as well that they are people or they are someone that keeps to their words, that they have integrity as far as relating with you is concerned, so that they don't go into marriage and change their minds or start saying something else. But it's important to have those conversations and agree on finances. Is your money our money and my money our money? Or is my money and your money is our money? Or is my money and your money? We have to talk about finance. We have to agree on how we want to operate as far as finances is concerned. We need to know our love languages or our money languages. Let me use the word money language. We need to know our money language. There are people who are like monks, they don't want to be rich. They just want the basic things out of life and they are okay. There are people who want to be extremely rich and want to do everything to get there. So you need to understand it. There are people who are givers. For them, the way they show that they are living a fulfilled life is to give, and they may end up even giving you out. So you need to understand people's money language, understand who they are as far as money is concerned, understand how money is important to them, understand how the both of you can actually manage money. How do you see money? Do they love money more than they love you? Because if they love money more than they love you, they may use you as sacrifice one day. So it's important to understand how people relate with money. What's their relationship with money? If they ask you to borrow, to lend them money, do they give it back to you as promised, or they just keep quiet and act like nothing ever happened? What's their relationship with money? It is during courtship that you are able to really understand these things, and you're able to talk about them and agree. In terms of spirituality, what is your stand about tithing, about sowing seeds? What's your stand about the Holy Spirit? What's your stand about the Holy Trinity? What's your stand about going to a Pentecostal church? What's your stand about being a Catholic? If you have differences in these areas, it's important to talk about them and to agree on what to do. For instance, if you are both from different church, you have to talk about it. Or if you both attend different churches, you have to talk about it. What church would we eventually start attending? Why should we start attending this church? What are the Christian values that we want to imbibe in our relationship? How do we want to raise our children when it comes to spirituality? Will morning devotion or night devotion be very important or a critical part of our relationship and our marriage? What are the things? Will praying together be important? So what are the rituals or spiritual rituals that we must develop? You need to agree on these things. If, for instance, I believe in tithing, you don't believe in tithing, then we say, your money is our money, my money is our money. It means that I have a right to the money that you also give. So we need to talk about these things so we don't go into the relationship disagreeing, because it is disagreement that brings division. So in your courtship relationship, talk about spirituality. Talk about your core beliefs. Talk about your value systems. Talk about career. Okay, so I'm building a career. Talk about how far you want to go about building your career. Talk about how important it is. Okay, so for my wife and I, one of the things that we decided to do about finances is that we told ourselves, your money is our money, my money is our money. Okay, so we are bringing 100% of everything we earn. It doesn't matter how much it is, but we're all bringing 100%. So it's about the percentage, it's about the measure and not the amount. Okay, so another thing we talked about, was the fact that as far as career is concerned, I'm not going to stop you from achieving anything you want to achieve. We will not allow our marriage to stop us from achieving whatever we want to achieve. If you want to study to have masters, if you want to study to have PhD, if there is an opportunity for you to travel to make that happen, we will work around it. Nothing should stop you from achieving your dreams or achieving your career goals. Nothing should stop me from achieving my career goals. So I won't say, oh, okay, because you are getting married, you've gotten married or you're having children, so your life should stop or your career goals should stop. No. We will work around it. I will support you in the best possible way. I will push you to achieve your goals or achieve, the dreams that you have in your mind or in your heart. So you need to talk about these things, because a lot of people don't talk about these things. And so when an opportunity comes up and maybe that person needs to travel, the other person is saying you can't travel. And this person is feeling resentment because this was an opportunity to grow, or a promotion comes and that person needs to go to another city. And we are all thinking, you must not take, or both of you are now thinking, you must not take that position because you would not be close to us, or we have to relocate and all of that. You need to have conversations around these things. What is, or what should be, do we need house helps? I didn't know it was a big deal for me until my son was born, and we needed to have a house help. And then we began to think. I was having difficulty to accept that a house help should come and live with us. So even at the beginning, we had to start with the house help that comes and goes until I got to the point where I was comfortable to have a house help to come and live with us. I wasn't comfortable at the beginning. So if you don't have some of these conversations, you will not know. Of course, you may not cover everything, because as you go into marriage, new things will begin to come up, and then you will begin to deal with them. But as you deal with these new things that you didn't talk about in marriage, it's important that you deal with them from a place of open-mindedness, from a place of mutual respect, and from a place of not enforcing your idea or your decision on the other person. Look at it holistically and decide. House chores. How do we take care of house chores? Is it you as a woman that should be doing house chores, or both the man, I can also help with doing house chores? These are some of the things that when people do not talk about it during courtship and they go into marriage, it breaks them. It breaks their relationship because they didn't agree on these things. It is those similarities, those agreements, those things that make you stay on the same page when it comes to the core things that are very critical to the success of your marriage. When you agree on these things and you begin to work on them based on your integrity, that you did not change that decision, and you begin to work on them in your marriage, you find that your marriage will be smoother, especially in the first 5 years of your marriage. And then you can successfully build a solid foundation that would, take your relationship to the next level. Don't be afraid to fight during courtship. Don't be afraid to have disagreements. Don't be afraid to have conflicts. The thing is that during courtship, you have already made up your mind that this is the person I want to get married to. So we are not having disagreements or conflict because of a character issue or a problem with their behavior. But we are having conflict, or we are fighting based on difference in opinions, or based on difference in the perspectives that we have. And of course, because we come from different backgrounds, we have different experiences, we have, different views about things, there will definitely be conflict. There will definitely be difference in opinion. It's okay. Don't be afraid to fight. But don't say because we are fighting, then we must break up this relationship. It's not going to work. Our marriage will not work. That's not it. Your ability to navigate these things at the earlier stage of your marriage even would help your marriage during the first 5 years to have less fights, because you've already dealt with these things during your courtship phase. But then a lot of us, we leave out these things during courtship phase, and we go into a marriage relationship, and that's where we begin to fight and keep fighting. And for some people who don't know how to handle these fights, they break up and say the marriage is not working. No, it's just a difference in opinion, and ensure that you effectively deal with the conflict so that by the time you get married, there are less fights to come on. So the things that probably will come up during marriage were things that you didn't discuss or you didn't see, which of course is normal. And then you can be able to walk around it, navigate your relationship, and have a smoother experience in your marriage. I hope this helps you. Take care of yourselves and receive sense.